Okay, week 21 here, another interesting week. We've got top against bottom, Al Jazeera versus Hatta, and then we've got a big local derby in the capital. Well, anything else, Iain? The games are coming thick and fast.
We've got a lot of games coming. We've got some amazing goals, some sendings off, lots of VAR. There's a lot to watch and a lot to comment on.
Please watch our show. Okay, welcome everybody to episode number 16, is it, Sam? Or number 15? Episode number 16, sorry, senility is setting in, Iain. My name's Tony, this is Iain, and welcome to Football Focus UAE. Okay, Iain, let's move on to our first game that you're going to analyse. It looks like it was a cracking game.
Really was, for different reasons really.
Sharjah versus Corfacan?
Yeah, Sharjah versus Corfacan. Sharjah only got 2 points out of the last 5 games.
They've been struggling, haven't they?
And Corfacan looking for actually the second win in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched Corfacan, and we said in our last show that with them Brazilians, they can play football, and they can damage teams.
Yeah, so sort of the form book's sort of out the window going into this game. You think, like I say,
I thought Corfacan would win.
Corfacan 2 in a row. Well, looking for their second win. Sharjah, we sort of played inconsistently. Need to get back to winning ways very, very quickly. Need to make a statement. And in fairness to them, they did, and they needed it. You know, this is their first win in 5, so they were desperate for a win.
Yeah. So there was you one as well.
And of course, the main man that we've always said, Coronado, steps up. When you need someone on the ball to create something, he's the man.
He was their linchpin in that when they won the title.
Yeah, and he's certainly made the difference today. And this is free kick. As we watch, 5th minute makes a huge difference. Super. There's not much you could say about that, really.
No. 2 goalkeepers, as I say, when they stop that, really, 2.
Yeah, you know, even if you stuck everybody on the line, they're not getting near that at all. You know, the way he's just. We'll watch it here, the way he's just whipped over the top of that, got it over the wall.
Into the corner as well, I mean.
And we've seen so many opportunities, so many times when the walls have broken down, it's come through the walls, that didn't even straight over the top of the wall. Keepers had absolutely no chance. To go 1-0 down to Sharjah after 5 minutes, it's an uphill from there on in.
It's a big ask, isn't it?
Yeah. But having said that, Corfacan did have a few opportunities.
They're going to with these Brazilians, they do like to keep the ball, they do know how to score.
But it's good, you know, Corfacan are going into this game, like I said, they are good going forward, and it shows they're not afraid of Sharjah. They put a lot of bodies into the box, but of course, the only problem is, if you counter-attack quickly, which happens here,
you're going to lose spaces.
One huge ball straight down the middle, and unfortunately, the centre-backs are too wide. Coronado is straight through.
What a fantastic
and a great little fish. I think, to be honest, keepers made a slight error. If you see here, he comes out, he goes back, he doesn't quite get in the right position. He checks back, he comes back again, and actually it does go through his hands a little bit.
Yeah, that's...
you know, I'm being ultra harsh a little bit here, but you know, it's a great effort from Coronado.
I've watched Corfacan a few times here, and I've spoken to some friends who've commentated. They're a great side going forward. Their biggest weakness is their defence.
Yeah.
And if the defence are not playing well, it's an area we can see a team like Sharjah going to exploit.
And of course, like you say, exactly, a team like Sharjah, who are top quality, you can't give them any sort of room. And, you know, very, very unlucky.
I think this wasn't going well for Corfacan.
No, you know, 35 minutes gone, 2 down, but...
Goalkeeper mistake and...
but the quality of the ball in is superb. He's under absolutely no pressure at all.
Yeah.
He's got to do something, he's got to deal with it, but of course he's got his body in the wrong place, he's facing away, he's got to be facing where the ball is. And he's got to be using that left foot to hook it away instead of playing it back. And, well, it's a great finish.
Yeah, it is.
Look at that. Keeper's got absolutely no chance. Then, again here, look at the setup from Corfacan. They're back in numbers.
Yeah.
But
with these 2 players.
But we haven't really got particularly who's marking who.
Is this a penalty in?
It is, yes. So you've got the defender here who makes the challenge. Wellington. We've got 2 guys there which are fine, but there's no real structure or real shape into it, and as you see, this ball gets whipped into his feet. Great little first touch, and looking at it first time, there doesn't seem to be much in it at all. Yeah. But we go to our old friend VAR, and he stood on his foot. You could say it's a bit harsh. It does go down easily. But
Tell me this, Iain. I'm going to ask the referees. I do teach the referees here. I've got to say they're really good guys. You know, in times past, if the ball had gone away and he's not going to get it, and the player touches it, the referees kind of let it go and think, well, he wouldn't have got the ball anyway. Has that kind of changed? Any ideas on that?
I think it has a little bit.
To put you on the spot.
No, I think it has. I think, strikers these days are a little bit more prone to go down, a little bit easier, slightest touch, because they know that they'll go to VAR. VAR looks at it,
it's a foul,
and it looks like
even though the ball's nowhere, can't get it,
and it's gone. It doesn't take, and unfortunately, VAR doesn't take the sort of situation or what's happening into play. So it's just.
Because in times past, referee would look and think, well, he weren't going to get the ball.
Just get on with it, play on with it. And I think also it's probably a little bit naive defending as well.
Knowing that, you should.
Wellington's received that ball back to goal. Defender just needs to hold him up. Wellington's not going to score a turn there. He'll have to play it back. But by diving in, it gives him the opportunity to go down. So a little bit naive.
We were saying earlier, we've seen, I don't know about you guys, we've seen a lot of penalties. Almost every game. I've commentated the last 3-4 games, and there's been a penalty in every one of them because of VAR, because of silly defending.
And I think that's a good
schoolboy errors.
Good example. Naive defending. A lot of the
sticking your foot in the
penalty. A lot of the penalties aren't blatant penalties, blatant fouls. They're just naive, just silly. They're not needed.
Well, we'll see one with Al Jazeera. That's a penalty. That's a blatant, obvious. These are, you can see
doesn't need to make a challenge. And Coronado's not going to miss from 12 yards. He doesn't miss from 25 yards.
So no chance.
Absolutely no chance whatsoever. Great finish. So second half going into it, Corfa put up a bit of a fight actually. Second half, we said they're looking good going forwards. They've got Sharjah on the run there a little bit. Had a great little turn and a great finish. That's our main man, Ramon. Yeah.
He's got some great goals this season.
And we've said going forward, Corfa have got pace. They've got pace. They've got skill in abundance, but they've got to shore it up in defence.
Definitely. I think once they do that over the.
And then for me, pick of the goals. And this is on his weaker foot, remember?
Goodness me, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Look at this. As the ball comes in, I think he's happy with that one. Superb little run. The way he made the run across to stay on side. Wellington, and that's the combination. Normally it's the other way around, isn't it? Normally Coronado feeding Wellington. Wellington's feeding.
Still had a lot to do though with that.
On his weaker foot, and he's just amazing football in the far side. And they thoroughly deserved it. We were a little bit critical of them last week. They didn't play very well last week. Yeah. The form has been poor. They've answered the critics there today, and that's put them back in the hunt. Yeah.
And let's hope it's a springboard here, because I know it's your team.
Yeah.
Last week we were kind of disowning Sharjah.
We were. Yeah.
This week we like Sharjah.
Yeah, we do. But they played differently. They took the game to Corfa, whereas before they sat back and wanted to counter attack. Today they said, right, we're going to go out there, we're going to take the game to them. And that's the difference. They scored 5 goals.
Tactically, the manager got it absolutely bang on this particular game. Abdulaziz. Okay, thanks for that, Iain. Let's move on to the next game. Okay, and let's move on to our next game. A game I was actually commentating on. And to be honest, Iain, speaking to Hatta, I was there. It's a lovely club, by the way, Hatta. I know some of my friends watch it from Hatta Club. What a lovely club, Iain. Really, really nice. Clean, well organised. With regards to COVID-19 regulations, they followed to the letter. Lovely, lovely club. A lot of people here expected a cricket score. We predicted 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, I think I went 4-5-0.
Yeah. But when I got to Hatta, I felt a little bit of a buzz there, and I was talking to two of the coaches, and they said, "Look, we won the last game. This new coach is coming. He's done the business. He's got them playing well. We've commented how they are playing well." And Al Jazeera won, of course, but they only won by 1 goal. But to be honest, Iain, it wasn't because Hatta played well or the defenders fantastic. Al Jazeera couldn't score. Ali Mavkut didn't have his scoring shoes on or his scoring boots. They didn't put him in his pocket as a lot of as people say. They just couldn't score, and we're going to see that. We were talking earlier. So if we move on to it, we'll see what happened. But Hatta did have the chances. And there's a coach, Marcella Kaiser, done fantastic things. Yeah. And there's the new Hatta coach, Vladimir. But like I was saying, we expected. The first chance came in the 5th minute. Kasanovic, we spoke about him, hits a crossbar. I think he's got 5 or 6 goals. First chance after 4 minutes. So I thought, here we go. Then we got Ali Mapkut. He gets a chance in the 17th minute. Again, Mubarak plays the ball one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper pulls out a fantastic save. And I think the goalkeeper stopped Ali Mapkut today. Then we have another chance. And this is what happened in 25th minute. Al Jazeera dominated the game, Iain. Oh, sorry, Hatta came in. This is a chance. He come in, I thought he were going to score. And this is the problem with Hatta. They get the chances here, they are getting chances, they're just not scoring. Then we have another, I think it was Traore. Let's have a look here. Is it Traore? No, Ali Mapkut again. Another chance, nobody around him, one-on-one, and he just couldn't score.
No, just on Ali Mapkut there, 2 great examples that he's always moving. So he gets the ball, he play the ball on, and then he goes and finds a little bit of space. Too many players will just play the ball on and stand still and watch. He's always on the move. As for a defender, that's an absolute nightmare. You just don't know where he is. You think one minute you've got him, the next minute he's behind you or in front of you or by the side of you, where he makes that little move in and goes away. He just creates these little pockets of space, and it's so difficult to defend against.
I was talking to some people in Al Jazeera. I was there this week in Al Jazeera, and they were saying he's just got this gift of finding spaces in defence.
Yeah.
And this is where Kalfan Mubarak, he's the magician for Al Jazeera, and he finds him. He finds him. He knows these spaces where he's going to run, as you just said.
And it's not as if he's
unplayable.
Doesn't sprint into. He just sort of ghosts into these positions, and you'll see defenders thinking, "I've got him." And the next minute he's over there.
How do you defend it? Do you man mark the guy out of the game?
Well, if you've got to, haven't you? I think you put 2 men on him. If you've got an extra 6 men, get as many as you can.
They did mark him well, but he just finds that space. Then I think this is again Ali Mapkut. Everything goes through him. I don't know how Traore misses. I said in my commentary, my grandma could have scored this. She doesn't play football, by the way, God bless her soul. But I missed, we don't see it here, but he missed an open goal. Then this is the penalty here. Now this is a penalty here.
Now that's a penalty.
That's a penalty, not VAR, not he stood on his foot, not he knocked him on his shoulder, not he hit his hand. And this is Mohamed Darwish, a new signing from Hatta from Kofakan. He was their best defender up to that moment. Upsets Ali Mapkut, he's not going to miss. He's Mr. Cool, Calm and Collected. And that was the only goal of the game. But watch again, Hatta. Nataz had brought him in, I thought, Nathanas? They brought this player in to score goals. And he had a wonderful opportunity. Look at this. I mean, what happened there? I mean, he hit back past it to the goalkeeper to me. I mean, they brought this guy in as new signing to score goals here. This is the problem they have.
He's not going to get a better opportunity than that, is he, to score a goal? It's
13
almost
goals here this season.
You know, he's 7 yards out with the goalkeeper to be. What I would say was disappointed with the Al Jazeera defending that. That was just far too easy, wasn't it? There was no challenge on him. Just a long ball in.
It was a lovely ball in, weren't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic ball.
You know, and if that was João Pedro, for instance, that's in the back of the net. It is.
Then we had this. I thought they scored here. The defender comes in, what's his name? Al Hussein Salah. What's he doing? Hatta. I mean, the guy I think he wanted a cup of tea in between or something. What happened there here? He gets the ball 1 touch, 2 touch, he goes for the 3rd touch and a shot.
Well, the only thing I can think of is confidence, isn't it? You know, if you're João Pedro, if you're Lima, who's currently scored 10, 15 plus goals,
it's a natural instinct.
You bang, you get the ball, you drive as quickly as you possibly can, and the ball's in the back of the net before you know it. You don't even know what you're doing. It's conscious, it's gone. Whereas if the header, the tart's there, they're panicking. They haven't been in this situation. They know that they know what a big opportunity is.
I mean, the thing is as well, you think of the Al Jazeera defence, they're all international players, and they've got pace and power. And the pace come in and just took the ball away. Al Hussein Salah he came on as a substitute. And then another chance, Ali Mapkut. There, the goalkeeper comes to the rescue again. He did have a cracking game, and I'm saying that Ali Mapkut didn't have his shooting boots on, but I've got to give the goalkeeper credit here. You're the goalkeeper yourself.
Yeah, no, he did very well.
Lovely. 3 good saves there.
Stood on his feet, stood up for as long as he possibly could, which is good. Put pressure on him. And what I like to see there, on every opportunity, I know that Al Jazeera were getting chances. But it had to defenders were backing numbers. So it's not we've seen previously where it's been a 1v1 and defenders have been running back chasing. they were there. So again, positive signs of Hatter. And who knows?
Yeah, it's possible. They've got a big game coming up next week in our next round of matches. But it was a good game to watch. It had everything in it, Iain, but Hatter did well.
Yeah,
I think
very well.
they've got a chance of maybe staying up in the league. All right, thanks, Iain. Thanks. Let's move on to our next game, Iain. Okay, Iain, let's move on to. I've got to say, I like to use this as a cracking game. What a game!
Well, two excellent teams, aren't they? Both defensively, both going forwards. And it was interesting to see how they both sort of set up, really. And Banyas traditionally played quite a high line at the back because they've got pace.
And they like to play slowly, build up play, don't they?
So they're very, very good going forward. But what I think Al Nassr identified, because they play this high line, there's the opportunity to get in behind them. And you'll notice from early on.
That's not normally their tactics.
No,
because I've watched Al Nassr.
They like to get Al Nassr got the ball in very quick, and they release the ball as far as they possibly can over the top, and then chase it down, use their pace to exploit the high line. And it shows there's a couple of examples here that Banyas just got caught a little bit, so they just need to be aware of that going forward. So as I say, the ball comes playing the fullback, they knocked it long, and then
Ryan Mendes, he's got pace. This guy's played all over Europe, played in the UK as well.
Yeah, he's a decent player, like I said. Going forward, Al Nassr have got that pace, and they just identified that slight chink in perhaps Banyas's armour about their high line and looked to play it. And the keeper's come rushing out. What he's doing, I don't know. And he was very, very lucky for him to get a yellow card. Yeah. The Al Nassr bench were
livid. They must have been livid.
And here's again another example.
Yeah,
long ball across, a little flick on, and they're going at him at pace. And a great finish.
Who's that? Is that Tagliabue? What a fantastic goal.
And if we just watch the replay again,
it passes it
almost across and just opens his beautiful, doesn't he? The way he sort of opens his body out, lets the ball come across it. And to get the pace on that is so difficult.
He used the pace off Mendes' ball.
He did, but yeah, exactly what he did. And the goalkeeper has got to do a little bit better there. Got to do better. So going into the second half, Al Nassr looking good, 1-0 up. Banyas needs to improve.
Ryan Mendes is on fire at the moment. He's having last 3 games I've seen him play, he's been their man of the match.
Again, great little ball in, great ball out wide, plays it back. Mendes has made that run and a good save.
Saba, the Israeli, fantastic player.
And you're right there, Mendes picked that ball in the midfield, drove, played it on, and he got into the 18-yard box and was waiting for the ball again. And he looks, an excellent player.
Well, the Israeli player Saba, he's been a fantastic signing for.
So 57 gone, still Banyas 1-0 down. Obviously, these Banyas are looking for that elusive league title.
So in the second half, did they manage to pick up the tactics that Al Nassr were playing? Or?
They sat a little bit deeper, but they ended up getting on the ball a little bit more, and they knew what obviously Al Nassr were trying to do. Okay. So when they got the ball into the full-backs to play it forward, they were already dropping off, anticipating that long ball coming into their rear, so they weren't getting caught behind as much. But then obviously Banyas needed taking the game towards Al Nassr. And as you can see from here, we've got 2 guys playing the guy here is absolutely fine. We look at the space here. We've got centre back. Well, I'm assuming one of these is centre back, and they've got so much space, and it's too much. There's no compactness there at all, is there?
No, it's wide open. Look at this.
As you can see, plays the ball back in line. And that's unbelievable.
There you go.
Unbelievable.
Pick that one out of the back of it. Al Nassr. I mean, he is a man on fire, isn't he?
Yeah. He's an absolute beast, isn't he? And he just takes no prisoners.
No, I mean, goalkeeper.
The goalkeeper's got no chance there at all. As we can see here, there's no challenge on him. You just don't expect that. And he got the ball out of his feet so quickly. But it did stem from them not being compact. If they were back, if they had 2 backs of 4, it would make it very difficult to find that space. But fair play to him, he did, and what a finish. So nearly 70 minutes gone, 1-1.
To me, he's a contender for the player of the season.
And this is a wonderful
goal.
Fantastic. This little pass here from Tagliabue is unbelievable. The ball's played into the pace, he just clips it across. Inch perfect here, just watch it. Little clip across, ball
he's
in,
waiting
and
for
then first time finish.
Beautiful.
Giving the keeper absolutely no chance. So we're 2-1, 70 minutes gone.
Now Nasser, they've got a fantastic defence. I'm thinking they're going to sit back and win this.
Yeah,
It's going to be tough to score.
exactly.
So what happened here? This is where it got really interesting.
Ball in and handball.
Really? Wow.
From, again, naked eye, doesn't look like it, but as you can see, number 5 there, his arm, unnatural position. But look at this. Look at the desire from João Pedro. Look how high he is. You know, they say how high Ronaldo can jump, but look at the difference there. You know, the defender he's defending against is virtually not off the floor.
Yeah.
He was nearly 2 foot high.
It's a massive jump, isn't it?
And obviously it's awarded a penalty.
Well, that's the rule now. If it hits the hand, doesn't matter. Incidentally saying that, what doesn't matter.
And then you don't see that very often.
No, you don't.
You know, he's so clinical. He's just scored that goal from 20 odd yards, 12 yards. He just struggles
Maybe,
so much.
maybe you're starting to think, is it our game we're going to lose?
Yeah. So again, another corner. Corners are proving an issue at the moment for Al Nassr. They just can't clear their lines. They can't get rid of it. And then there's an example. They've had 3 or 4 opportunities to get the ball out. They just can't.
If in doubt, give it a class.
Exactly. Just get rid of it. Stick it in rows in. Cannot let that ball bounce inside the box. And they do, and they get punished. And then suddenly we're 91 minutes, 2-2. The ascendancy, isn't it, with Banyas? And that ball's whipped in. Again, not being challenged. Too many players in and around the box. They struggle to get it away. Goes out for a corner again. You think that's it. The opportunity's gone. But again, they don't give up. And from that corner,
I don't know. What a fantastic! You can see the chuffed to bits over that one, Iain. Goodness me, what a cracking game! Give us your feedback on that.
But I think that's something that Al Nassr need to work on, because that's probably 3 or 4 occasions we've seen in just this short clip, these short clips, and they're struggling against corners.
Yeah, it's unlike Al Nassr like Iain, isn't it? We were saying early on the season, they're now not the meanest defence. I think it's Shabab Al-Ahli, Al Jazeera, but that's Al Nassr like. When we were watching them.
Originally, they're normally so disciplined, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're
so
big
boys
to break down. I still think that is true when the ball's on the floor, when it's coming through. They just seem to be struggling against corners, direct players, and you know, there's no challenge on him there. And we were mentioning before that everything is going right for Banyas at the moment. Everything, you know, they're getting the right with the green, they're getting penalties, they're getting goals from 25 yards out, they're scoring in, you know, injury time.
What I like, we said it before, they never give up. They never think they're going to lose a game. They think they can win it with 30 seconds to go. I think that's what I like about Banyas.
That desire, that belief. And for me, they're the main challengers to Al Jazeera.
Absolutely.
Al Jazeera need to watch out.
Watch out, Al Jazeera can't mess up. I think not next week, the week after, Banyas have got a nice, easy game. Al Jazeera have got a local derby.
Yeah.
I think it's an opportunity, if they win next week, to do something. They're my team of the season at the moment, and João Pedro, well, the manager and João Pedro.
Yeah.
We
just think they didn't have that dip in the middle of the season.
Oh, they would be running away with it.
Yeah.
Let us know, Banyas fans, what you think. We're getting a lot more comments, by the way. Thank you, guys. All right, thanks for that, Iain. Let's move on to the other games. We're going to sit down now. We need a break. So first of all, Iain, we're going to start off with Ajman versus Shabab. Any Shabab Al-Ahli fans out there? What happened? 1-1? We've got Ajman who are on bottom of the league. We've got Shabab Al-Ahli who are on fire at the moment, playing some fantastic football. They just made a wonderful new signing in Al-Mouj, Omar Abdul Rahman from Al Jazeera. They look a team to watch for next season. I think they were unlucky last season with COVID-19. They would have won the league. I mean, the season before that, they won everything but the league. And the last season before COVID, they would have won the league. But to me, without a shadow of a doubt, they were playing phenomenal football. Yet this season, they're a little bit all over the place, but I think they're a team to watch out next season. I think we're in for a cracking season.
I think we are. Really? I don't want to talk about next season too much because we've still got 5 games to go. But like you said, we've got Banyas, Al Jazeera, Sharjah,
Alain,
Al-Ahli. I think they're the top 5 teams for next season. It'll be very, very interesting.
And Shabab thrown in there would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's not much to write home about when you think of the result. Shabab Al-Ahli normally like to score goals, and they've got some great goal scorers. But it was a day of, I don't know, they just couldn't score a goal. And Ajman, when you think of the bottom of the league, and they're in that relegation zone, they're not doing too good. Notice I've got an interesting stat when you watch this game. Ajman only had one shot on target and scored. Shabab Athli had quite a few and they didn't score. And Ajman in the last game where they drew 3-3, I think it was with Al Wassel, they had 3 chances and they scored 3 goals. So clinically, they're the best, one of the best teams at the moment. But anyway, let's watch the highlights and we'll go through them. So, nothing much to report in the first 35 minutes, but the game was sparked into life with a penalty given to Shabab Al again here in the 37th minute. Mar Sharapov, the Uzbekistani, was brought down in the box by Rakan, the young defender, up-and-coming Emirati defender to watch out, very, very good. He picked him out, took up the penalty, but lo and behold, Ali Al-Hossani saved the penalty, great save, as you can see in the highlights. Then a few minutes later, Ajman scored a lovely breakaway goal. It's unlike Shabab Al-Athli to let this happen again, one of the meanest defence. Shabab Al-Athli were on the attack, Ajman won the ball, it was played to Trawali, who played in Diego Jardel on the right wing, and then he put a lovely ball in, Diego, back to Trawali, who scored a fantastic goal. He is a man. He's doing really well. You like him, don't you?
I like both of them. They're both good quality players. They seem to be linking up really, really well, which is the key, which is something they didn't have at the start of the season when they were really, really struggling. So it's been, both been really good signings. And really
he has. He's scored, I think, his 5th goal, 7 in this season. And as I said earlier, that was their first attack on goal. Shabab Al-Athli did have chances before the half-time with a good bit of play from Igor and Cartabaya, these Portuguese.
Yeah.
But no, he's Argentinian, I think. Sorry, he's Argentinian. He shot wide of the goal. Second half, Cartabaya had another chance, but again his shot went wide. Then in the 52nd minute, Marsharapov made amends for his penalty miss here and scored a fabulous goal from 17 yards, top corner, top class. Game on. And then it was all Shabab Al-Athli. They had a couple of more chances. Ajman had a kind of a sniff of the goal with Maiga, the new signing. He had a kind of a half a chance, a lovely bit of play with Trawali, but the goalkeeper, Shabab Al-Athli's goalkeeper, made a fantastic save to save Shabab Al-Athli's blushes. Losing that one would have been, it wouldn't have been very good. And so it was a good result for me, for Ajman. Even though at home, you said here, and you always say it's like every game's an FA Cup final. And they got a point, a well-deserved point, saying that.
Yeah, they look good. Like I said, we've always said Ajman always look good going forward and clinical from those stats clearly. But it's the defence has let them down. But they have shored up a little bit. It's going to go down to the wire, is it? It's going to go down to the last game of the season.
I've said they'll go down most of the season, Iain, but the way for Gio changing the manager, personally, I think that was a huge mistake for Gio.
Yeah,
I think he should have stuck with Goran, his experience, he knows what he's doing. And they're playing worse. They're not playing.
No.
They've lost most of the games. I think they've lost 4 and drawn 1 since the new manager's come in. I think for Gio now, I've changed my mind.
Yeah.
Alright, let's move on to our next game. Ian, what game is that?
Kalba versus Aldaphra. So 2-1 to Aldaphra. It was a keeping error, the first goal. So the ball got whipped into the cross.
You can see the highlights here. Sorry.
And he sort of clashed with his own defender. The ball, and the ball's ended up in the back of the net. Silly, really. He's got to make a.
They've got to talk to each other. Of
course, he's got to come out. If he's not comfortable catching a high ball, he's got to punch it. He's got to scream and shout at the defenders.
My ball.
And just get them out of the way. But they all just came together in sort of a melee, and the ball got dropped in the back of the net. And again, it's a goal that shouldn't have been conceded. There was no pressure on him at all, so which is disappointing. Kalba then took the game to them, started playing the football we know they can play. And they looked dominant force, to be honest. They were a lot better. Possession was 70%. They had over 500 passes compared to 250. So it just shows that they're on the ball. They were happy with it. So you've got David Mariani in the midfield pulling all the strings, and it was a beautiful cushion header from Malapa. The ball was played into Malapa.
Playing well.
As that ball's coming to him, we know how big he is and strong he is. Defender right up his back. Couldn't get on with it, just cushioned the ball down, and then Santos came in and just slotted the ball in the back of the net, and it was a brilliant bit of forward play from Aldaphra. You know, a lot of strikers would have tried to direct it towards the goal. He didn't. He brought the rest of the players into the game.
He's not a prolific goal scorer, but he'll score your goals and he'll set your goals up. That's what I like about him, and he plays for the team.
And again, you could probably liken him to someone like Emil Heskey, for instance, who, when you look at his stats, doesn't score a lot of goals, but it's what he brings to the team. The players playing with him benefit from that, and they score the goals. You know, Heskey and Owen were scoring goals, but he was only scoring those goals because of the work that Heskey was doing, and that's similar with Aldaphra, really.
And he'll pop in with your goals, and now and again
Yeah,
I mean, I saw him the first game of the season in the cup against Aldaphra. He scored 2 wonderful goals, and he'll get you goals.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the second goal, again, defensive stroke goalkeeper mistake. Mariani had a free kick on the right hand side. He's whipped the ball into the area. You know, lovely long ball as he always does, around that sort of 6-yard area, and the balls end up just going straight through everybody and straight in the back of the net. It's one of those where the goalkeeper's expecting someone to touch it, so he can't. He's just there waiting. It doesn't happen. It just ended up going straight in the back of the net, and that was 2-1. But like I said before, Calder looked really, really good. 70% possession. You're not going to come back from that.
Tell me something, Iain. I mean, I did look. Mariani, he's not signed. He's still on loan from Shabab Al-Ahly. Do you think Calder should move heaven and earth and sign David Mariani?
Well, absolutely. If I was a Calder fan,
I was talking to some friends from Calder.
Yeah.
And they were saying they are going to try and sign him, but they should do, shouldn't they?
But he's a linchpin, isn't he? He's an exceptional player.
I think he's second or third in the league for assists.
Brilliant with both feet. His work rate is exceptional both on and off the pitch. We know that because we met him.
And he's happy with Calder.
Yeah, and he's a lovely guy. He loves the team ethic behind Calder. What I would say is that he's the sort of player that should be challenging for league titles. And next season, Shabab will be doing that. And is he a player that could perhaps fit into that Shabab team? I think he could be creatively. He's a different manager at Shabab when he was there, before he was there previously. It's probably a different atmosphere. So it wouldn't surprise me if Shabab were keeping an eye on him as well and thinking, can we get him in for next season?
He's player of the season, him in Trawali.
Yeah. But for me, if I'm Calder, I'll be looking to try and sign him as much as we can. But we know wherever he ends up, he's going to be a good signing.
Great
absolutely.
Right.
And that was it. 9-point gap now between Calder and Aldaphra.
They've got another season.
Absolutely, yeah, they've done well. Personally, I'd like to see them a little bit higher up the league.
Yeah, me too.
They've lost a couple of games perhaps when they should have won them, which has cost them their league, where they are in the league. It'd be lovely to see them finish in sort of 5th or 6th. I think probably 8th or 9th is where they'll end up. But I think it's still a good season.
I think they're a lovely team. And what I liked about them as well, they lost that 6-0 against Al Jazeera. I actually commentated on that here. Al Jazeera destroyed them, but they didn't let them. They came back and won the next game.
Yeah.
That's what I like about Calder. They didn't think, season's over, we're okay.
Yeah.
They're still playing well, they're still playing as a team.
Yeah.
The team to watch out for next season, I think.
Absolutely.
Especially in the Cups.
Yeah, I think a cup would be there. Cup final, cup semi-final would be there waiting.
They nearly did it this season.
Yeah, they did.
Calder, oof.
Yeah.
A penalty miss. Okay, let's move on to our next game. Iain, Fujairah versus Al Wasl. Thanks for that, by the way, Iain. Fujairah versus Al Wasl. I have to say, Fujairah fans, I've been hard on you guys. You've been rubbish since the new manager comes in, but this game you were unlucky. You should have won. You played well, you defended well, you played good football against Al Wasl, who can be a little bit up and down. I was talking to a friend. I do talk a lot to people in different clubs, and Pedro, and he was saying that Al Wasl haven't really got anything to play for now. They're planning more for next season, and you could see that in the way they play. But Lima is a dangerous player. But Fujairah were the better team and should have got a win. And it was a VAR decision in the 90th minute, I think it was.
It cost them. Wasn't great.
But look, let's watch the highlights. An interesting stat: all of Fujairah's points here have come at home, and they needed this win. A win would have done the morale for the team a world of good. The game was pretty dull. Fujairah played well. The first chance came in. It took 29 minutes. Lima had a shot on goal, but the goalkeeper pulled off a good save. Then Fujairah scored in the 39th minute. It was a lucky goal, Iain. I've got to say that some player tried to pass it. Hit Al Wasl player fell to Ben Labi, but we know Ben Labi, the Tunisian, he's been their best player, the 24-year-old, and he took it well. Put him a goal up. The second half, a sending off for Al Wassel. It was, I don't know, Iain, it was, the player went through Al Eid for Fajiri. It was 1-on-1 for a goal. He fouled him.
Yeah.
The referee initially gave a yellow card. I didn't know he could do this. Then VAR called him. He went to see the monitor and saw that Al Eid, the other defender, wouldn't have got there. So it was stopping the goal.
So it's the last man,
It was the last man, sorry. So he went back, took the yellow card away, and gave him a straight red. So I thought, well, this is a great opportunity now for Fajiri. 1-0 up, playing with 10 men. You know, put Lima in your pocket, as they say in Portuguese. Put him in your pocket, keep him out of the game, and you should hang on.
Yeah.
And I thought they're going to do it after that sending off. Then from the free kick, Ben Larby hit the crossbar with a ferocious shot. It was unlucky. And then in the 67th minute, Aldaphra was thrown goal. I mean, it was one on Iain. He cut back, cut the two defenders that were coming in, and all he had to do was shoot, and he kind of slipped and almost passed it back to the goalkeeper. And that was a crucial moment to me. It really was. You can see it in the highlights. And I thought, is he going to rule that missed opportunity? And he did. Al Wassel ended up receiving a penalty in the 89th minute. And all that happened was Lima came through, he missed the ball, but the goalkeeper stood on his foot. I mean, that was it. I don't know how VAR spots these things. No, the referee was called, he had no choice to me but to give a penalty, and Lima, the way he's playing, he's not going to miss them. No. I mean, the goalkeeper just came out and accidentally stood on his foot. I don't think he would have got to the ball, Lima, but he gave a penalty, and you can see Hez just went down for Jay, gutted, absolutely. He took everything out of him, and Ali was upset that he had to go to the referee. He gave him a yellow card, he carried on abusing the referee. You just can't do that, and he was sent off. So it ended with a bad taste in his mouth. Yeah, for Jay, you should have got a win, you didn't. Lima got another goal, another player on fire.
He's an excellent player, isn't he, Lima? He's sort of just trying to think of who he reminded me of, sort of European based. I think someone like Luis Suarez. His intensity, his tenacity, he never gives up. He's always, I think, one of these sort of horrible players that you want in your team. He does all the hard work, the dirty work. He's always involved in everything.
Yeah. And he don't mind mucking in, as we say, in my hometown. He really don't.
It's one of these that,
get himself
as an opposition fan, you hate him. You'd love him in your team. One of those players.
That's two great analogies today, or comparisons here. All right, that's my analysis of that game. Let's move on to the last game. Iain, you've got that.
Aldaphra versus Alain. The roller coaster of Alain sort of keeps coming, doesn't it? And we caught Aldaphra were very unlucky. They caught them on the way up, and they were dominant from start to finish.
A good local derby.
They looked
disappointing. Alain.
They looked the better team by long way. It was a comprehensive victory for Alain. Played some superb football. Laba scoring twice.
Kojo Laba.
Looked really, really good.
Tongalese, is he? Tongalese.
He looked really, really good. The speed of the ball was excellent. It was, at times, really poor from Aldaphra. It was almost like a training game. It was almost as if
we're not going to win the league, we're not going to get
it was just like, it's Tuesday afternoon, the manager said, right, let's bring the reserve team in and we'll have a 11 aside against each other, and it was poor. They just offered absolutely nothing. And because they're in that position, they're not challenged for anything, they're not going down, but it's disappointing to see, these guys still getting paid a lot of money. They've got to be producing something better than that, and it was very, very disappointing. And you'll see from the highlights that's going on, it was poor. Canadisa, the goalkeeper for Alain, I don't think had a single shot to make.
That's unacceptable for any Aldaphra.
It's disappointing, and they just looked disinterested. And it wasn't as if Alain were streets ahead of them. It was just
Aldaphra are a good side.
They didn't turn up and made it easy. And it's I don't want to go into too much because it's disappointing.
Yeah, well, I was talking to Bernard, who we did in conversation, and he said Aldaphra 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, were a team that were always challenging for the title, and they've kind of lost their way a little bit. Aldaphra, they need to do something. I think they've made a couple of good signings for the new season, so watch this space. I think next season they want to do something, and I think their fans deserve it. to be honest.
They certainly don't deserve.
They shouldn't be where they are. They shouldn't be playing like that against. This is a local derby, Aldaphra.
Yeah.
And he played almost a B team, and
Yeah.
played like a B team, should I say?
That's it. And when you're playing against a lane, you don't know which team's going to turn up. So you've got to be prepared for almost anything, and they just.
Alain is still gelling together this young team, and
but when it does click, and we've seen quite a few games, it might click for 10, 15, 20 minutes, and they're absolutely outstanding. Suddenly, they go back, and the gelling's not quite there. But they got it together over sort of 90 minutes, but it was easy for them.
yeah, it was too easy. And Pedro Conde. So 2 teams to watch out in the capital.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be a really, really interesting season to see who comes up. And Lava, he was a top goal scorer, a goal a game before COVID-19 got in, and he's kind of finding his form. He was out injured for a couple of games, and he's back. He's looking
Sharp,
looking really good. Another player to watch out. All right, so I think that's it. I think we're going to do our predictions now, Iain, for the games. I've got them here. Just give me a second. Some interesting games coming up here.
Some big games, aren't there? We're not many games to go. Is it 5 games left? There's some huge games going on both top and bottom, and it's going to go down to the last game of the season.
Yeah, my iPad's playing up a minute. This is technology today. Okay, let me get it here.
But I think you're right in terms of relegation. I think it's going to be Hatta and Fujairah there or thereabouts.
They're my predictions too, Iain. I've always said Iceman, but we say it again and again. They've kept faith in their manager.
And it just seems absolutely bizarre, isn't it? Fujairah basically took Corfacan's manager, brought him in.
He was doing well. He wasn't doing bad.
And then they got rid of him, and now they're look where Corfacan are compared to
Corfacan are clear now, yeah. They're doing well.
Crazy.
Okay, Iain. Al Wassel versus Ajman. What do you think?
Well,
Al Wassel at home.
Al Wassel at home.
Who turns up?
Exactly. But I think Ajman desperate for the points. I think it might be getting too much for them. I think 2-0 Al Wassel.
Yeah. I'm going for an Al Wassel win. They're at home. They want to do well.
I would like to see Ajman win to keep it close, but I just don't think against Al Wassel they're going.
I'm going for an Al Wassel win. Oh, Al Jazeera against some nice games. Al Jazeera versus Fujairah. What are you going for? I'm going for an Al Jazeera comfortable win. They're at home. They're playing well.
Difficult, isn't it? At this stage of the season, all those 3 teams at the bottom, Hatta, Ajman and Fujairah, will be sort of highlighting games in their last 5, who they potentially get a point. Could we get 3 points here? Where could we get a point here? We're not going to get anything here. They're going to struggle, aren't they, hugely? We have mentioned previously that Al Jazeera tend to struggle a little bit against the weaker teams. Hatta, so that may be on their side. They probably may rest a couple of players, but the advantage is they've got these players to come in off the bench.
Strength in there.
So you'd be crazy to go against Al Jazeera, really.
They've got international players on the bench. Imo Ezekiel is a Nigerian international. They've got some fantastic new Emirati players. So I'm going for an Al Jazeera win. I can't see any other way. Interestingly, next week is like this week, all the bottom 3 are playing in the same day.
Yeah.
They're playing tough opposition. Ajman away at Al Wassel, Fujairah away at Al Jazeera, and then you've got Hatta away at Corfacan. So interesting, they're all playing at the same time and they're all playing away. So we've got Corfacan at home versus Hatta.
Hatta looked improved against Al Jazeera.
And Corfacan got stuffed, didn't they? By Sharjah, as we just analysed. What do you think? They're at home though.
They are at home. It's not far to travel, just along the coast. It would be interesting, won't it, to see. Again, I think it could be the first goal. Whoever scores that first goal could get the points.
Depends a lot on Corfacan, but I saw them at home last night. I can't see nothing else.
You would think they're probably too strong, but seem to have that fight. They seem to have that desire. They're playing a lot better. This is a game they potentially could get 3 points.
3 points,
and if they do, that would really throw it in the mix. So interesting. I think probably Corfacan might be just too much.
I'm going to go with you. Big game, biggest game of the week. Shabab Al Ahly versus Sharjah, your team. We saw Shabab Al Ahly away to Ajman.
Yeah.
Not fantastic.
No, didn't
Sharjah coming off a 5-1 win.
Sharjah look really, really good, and they go back to that old style of play, taking the game to the opposition. It's good. That would be a great game. Great game to watch. I just hope that Sharjah don't go back into that more defensive mode, sit back and play the counter attack. They can show what they can do going forward. I appreciate the bank off Carnie's defence is weaker, so that's probably why they've gone out and done that. But that's the best way they play, taking the game to the opposition. It's difficult, isn't it? Because they're desperate, because they've got to win. So will they think, well, we'll sit back, and then we'll try and hit them on the counter attack and win 1-0? Or are they going to say, right, we're going to go and basically we'll score more goals than you do? So, yeah, could go either way.
I'm going for a draw.
Yeah, I think I would say draw.
It normally happens with the top teams, and you've seen it too many times, too often. Okay, Tuesday, Aldaphra versus Aldaphra, a local derby. Aldaphra and both Aldaphra.
Yeah, I think it's always impossible to call, isn't it? It could be 3-0 to Aldaphra, it could be 2-0 to I just don't know.
Aldaphra need a win just to boost some confidence, keep the fans happy.
And looking at the way Aldaphra played, they've given up. You know, I would be embarrassed if I was a player on that pitch. So I would think Aldaphra would do something.
Aldaphra need a win. I think they'll do the business. Al Nassr versus Kalba. Al Nassr coming off that Banyas loss where they should have won.
Yeah,
they should have won.
We highlighted on the video there
the weakness in that.
The weakness in corners. We know what Kalba have got.
They live on corners.
They've got Malapa, a couple of big, really good guys up front who will cause some problems. So it wouldn't surprise me if it could be a 2-1 Kalba, both goals from set pieces.
I'm going for either a draw or Al Nassr win. Al Nassr at home, I think will win. Okay, finally. Another big game in the capital Iain, Iain versus Banyas. Iain at home. But we said Iain they have that 20-minute spell they can do.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Difficult, isn't it? Because like you said, Iain could be so up and down and you don't quite know what team they're going to put out. One day they can be absolutely superb, next day they can be quite mediocre. But we did mention that it seems to be everything seems to be going right for Banyas. They can't, whatever they touch turns to goal at the moment. They just can't do anything wrong.
João Pedro, we say every week he's unplayable.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
He's a man of the season at the moment.
He's so strong, isn't he? Without him, they wouldn't be where they are because the amount of goals he scores that other players or other strikers wouldn't have scored the difference. They would still create the chances, I'm definite of that, but he's the only man who would score some decent goals.
And if they're going to win the league, it's because of him. It reminds me a bit when Manchester United signed Cantona.
Yeah.
They had the team, they just couldn't. No. And he came in and won the league.
It just takes it to that different level. Really, so difficult to defend against.
We've
seen he scores every type of goal, doesn't he? He scores tap-ins from inside the 6-yard box. He scores headers. He scores goals from 25 yards.
Alan Shearer's time.
Yeah,
he is. Yeah. He's a big, strong boy.
He is. Yeah.
He really is. So, what do you think? I'm going for that. Banyas.
Banyas.
I know the way to see it. All right. Well, thanks for that. And we didn't choose our goalie, and I'll let you do it. I'll do it next week. Which goalie are you going to choose? We're going to get our cameraman Sam to put it in.
There was two good ones from there. I think Coronado, his left foot was really, really good. His weaker foot let the ball come. Technically, a brilliant goal.
Then there was a free kick, that beautiful.
It's a beautiful free kick, but we've got to go for João Pedro. 25 yards, top corner.
It was ferocious. Yeah. Fabulous. Top corner. Top class. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry, I've got to get that one, you guys. You're going to have to live with these. It's a Yorkshire thing. Okay, we'll get our cameraman to put that in to finish with.
Here's João Pedro. Thinks about the effort. Oh! João Pedro with a contender for goal of the season. Out of absolutely nothing. He's got no right to shoot from there, João Pedro. And he finds the top corner. Look at that. That is unbelievable. An astonishing finish.
Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks Iain.
Thanks guys.
You're on a fantastic analysis of the games, and ring the bell, make some comments. We've had a lot of comments.
Yeah, it's been really good.
Ricardini will be back. He will be back. He's still not well, and he's going to analyse the game for us. We'll give him a big game. But thanks to our cameraman Sam. Please help us out here. All right, we like comments and ringing the bell, subscribing. Thanks everybody. Masalama.